My topic for this morning is a vision for the future. And I put a word behind this, exciting. Are you excited about future? Well, the word vision is a very interesting word. It can mean many different things in English language. Sometimes, in some denominations, it's almost like a prophecy. In some denominations, it's like action plan for us to implement. Sometimes it's just the sight that we have, like, what is your vision? There are different meanings for this word. I'm going to talk about different vision that I have related to our ministry. I cannot talk about the vision for Australia, New Zealand, or Canada, or France, or Finland, or for United States. But I'm even not sure if I can talk about a vision for Beit, Shalom in Germany, because we are built in the way that all our staff, they can have their vision. And we try to put it together for the same purpose. So I cannot talk for a vision for everybody on the German staff. I'm just, well, maybe vision for me, it's like a desire, like a dream. But I am going to talk about some of my dreams this morning, and then I will talk about the ultimate vision. That is very common for all of us. A vision for the future. So, what is the person at the very core of our ministry? Who is that? Mitch Glaze? Leopold Cohen? No. None of those. Yeshua. Forget about it. Yeshua. And I just want to read with you a passage from Ephesians chapter 2. And you know what I'm talking about, I think? Ephesians chapter 2, verse 20. And it's about unity of Jewish people and Gentiles, for us being together and being built as one body of the Messiah. Having been built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, the Messiah Yeshua himself being the cornerstone, in whom the whole building, being fitted together, is growing into a holy temple in the Lord, in whom you are also being built together into a dwelling of God in the Spirit. So the very foundation of everything what we do, and our ministry of the congregational planting, evangelism, teaching, or whatever we are doing, at the very core, there is Yeshua HaMashiach. There are the apostles, there are the prophets. And nobody else can set another foundation. We do the best we can, but we need to keep in mind who is the founder, who is the cornerstone of this all. Well, now I'm coming to some of my dreams. Again, it's not the ultimate vision yet. It's just some ideas. I would imagine the ministry, well, I'm just tending to be like, like Martin Luther King, I have a dream. Well, maybe. I'm not so big as he is, but just like, I have my right to have dreams, right? You too, by the way. I see the mission as a movement. I would love to see it as a movement. Movement of encouraging Jewish people to follow their Messiah for the sake of Israel's restoration. For me, the ministry that I'm doing is not just preaching of the gospel. It's the ministry of the restoration. Restoring Israel. For me, there is no other gospel as the gospel for the Jewish people. The good news for the Jews, as the father of one of my good friends here once said, Stuart Darman said this phrase, and some people took it missiologically. I take it ontologically. It's the very essence of the gospel. There is no other gospel as the good news for the Jews. If it's not the good news for the Jews, it's not the good news for anybody. The message of the gospel is first and foremost is the message of the restoration of Israel, because the Messiah came to restore his people. There is no other Jesus or Yeshua but the Jewish man. And it's important, it's relevant. I'm not saying something new for you, but I hope that it's going to transform the minds of many Christians in this world. So my vision, it's a movement of those embracing the gospel as the good news for the Jews. It's the movement of those who consider Jesus, Yeshua, as the Messiah of Israel, as the Redeemer of Israel, and also Redeemer of all. But his Jewishness matters. I hope that change of the perspective of everybody who follows Yeshua. I talked to Christians recently, and I said, when you see a Jewish person with a tzitzit, what do you think? What is your first reaction? Sort of like a clown, something strange, something weird, legalistic. No, change your perspective. Just change it in the way. My Messiah did it. My Messiah kissed the mezuzah. My Messiah laid the tefillin because he did. What we see among Jewish people, it's not strange. It's the way our Messiah used to live, more or less, but in this direction. So the church is to recognize it, embrace that, not necessarily leave it. Just, I don't expect Gentiles wearing tzitzit. I'm sorry, if you like doing that, that's your business. But I expect everybody who follows Yeshua to appreciate Yeshua as a Jew. And I would love to see all Gentiles preaching to the Jewish people the gospel as the good news for the Jews. I see that as a movement. Movement that consists not just vocational missionaries, not just missionaries at all, but movement of people, of all nations. People who follow Yeshua, movement of sharing the gospel with the Jewish people they know. And again, I am emphasizing the Jewish gospel. I dream of a church member somewhere in, like, say, a small country of Bulgaria. There is no sense to plant like a branch of our ministry, or even ministry headquarters. And maybe there is no sense to buy a building. But there are some Jewish people, and they are sort of unreached. Somebody got to share the good news for the Jews with the Jewish people there. Even with several Jewish people who live in a town or in a city. Who is going to do that? Vladimir Pikman, Mitch Glazer, Igor Swiderski, or somebody else in this room? Probably we will never get to these Jewish people. But there are those who love Jewish Messiah, Jesus. And we need more of those. And it would be ideal to start a movement of Christians, believers, Messianic, just telling to the Jewish people they know because of their colleagues, family members, extended or in-laws, or neighbors, or they play golf together. Just, your Messiah forgave all my sin. Your Messiah blessed me and gave me quality new life that will never end. Your Messiah means so much to me. Do you know your Messiah? He came to you and to your people because he loves you and your people. Well, the words can be different, but you got the message. if we can initiate that, if we can go to churches and speak to Christians, not about just like, I need support, I need prayer, but about just do something for the Jewish people. Become a part of this exciting movement. I stopped going to the churches to raise my support. I'm speaking to Christians in churches or whatever. First of all, because I go there to get new ministers. Not necessarily vocational, not necessarily professional, but I want them to do something for the people, Jewish people they know. Because doesn't matter how big we can be, we never can reach Jewish people all over the globe by ourselves. Vocational ministry, probably in this case, is the ministry of encouraging others to bring the gospel. It's one of our aims besides doing that ourselves. So that's what I probably dream about. And I dream about this movement being agile, with a flat structure. And I'm reminded of Proverbs chapter 30, verse 27, where it's about locusts. Locust is a bad thing. You know, it destroys the harvest. But at the same time, it's written that locust is very smart because and very good because in their organization, they don't have a king. But they march in order. They proceed in order, somehow, organically maybe. God created locusts this way. Actually, they had like a punishment of God in the Bible, but smart punishment, you know. We can learn something from them. I'm talking about movement that is intentionally organic, not just like, oops, it happened. There is opportunity, it happened. Intentional. Creating the venues, creating a platform, or platforms plural, for the ministry to become organic. Igor mentioned something. We do mentoring at Beit Shalom, not because there is a structure or there is a process of mentoring yet. Maybe we'll come to that. But we do it just because we do it. Because it's natural. We learn it from somebody else, we do it. Is it not biblical? Is it not what Paul was writing, what you heard from me? Deliver it to other faithful people who can teach others. Do you remember that? Passion. That's always necessary, and appreciation of Yeshua. Motivating and encouraging each other and also others. Let's go. Let's do it. Talking to several of us in this room, we were complaining to each other that sometimes doing ministry, we are losing the heart for the ministry. We're doing it. We don't sense it anymore sometimes. We just like this energizer bunnies, you know? And machines for sharing the gospel. It's sad. It's not where we should be. We need people who will encourage us, who would say, hallelujah, it's so wonderful. I shared the gospel. Just, you know, not because it's my work hour, not because it's my job, but because it's the way my life goes. I enjoy the gospel. I enjoy talking. I enjoy mentoring. I enjoy planting of the congregation. Do I? Maybe. But I need the fellowship of those who do. Then I will be encouraged myself. We want a movement, well, I would like to have a movement of those who serve and minister according to the gifts and callings, while getting more professional in these gifts and callings. Like in the first congregation, everybody brought what what he could. It was about money, but still, we are bringing something in the body of the Messiah, something unique. You are unique and you are different than I am. And because you are different, I need you. We need each other because we are different. We cannot be similar. Our callings are different. Gifts are different. We need to bring it. We need to embrace ourselves and our uniqueness in the body of the Messiah. That's my understanding, and getting better. And exercise the area of our strengths, not getting mediocre in the area of our weaknesses. I see the atmosphere of excitement. It would be great to have. Finances. Movement doesn't care for finances. Finances are coming. We get it as we go. Yeshua was trying to start the movement. Do you remember? He said, don't care. Don't care about financial things. I will provide. How I will provide? Sometimes, like with the prophets of old, through ravens or through angels, but also through widows. I will provide through other people. You just go. Lawrence spoke so greatly last night about going lech lecha. Just go. He will provide. Well, I don't mean that we are not raise funds or not or don't care about support raise, but that's not. It's not our main aim. It shouldn't stop us. It shouldn't slow down us. Money is not the fuel of our ministry. Just think about this. It's not something what energizes us for the ministry. It's just the simplest enablement. Movement can grow big. And then we will not be able to know each other so well any longer. Look, I know at least 1/3 of you. It's like we are like a large congregation or a large church. Well, not for Texas, you know. We're like a home group there, according to the size. But we know each other. We have sort of like friendship relationship. If we grow big, we might lose it. Or maybe not. I don't know how to do it, but maybe there is a way. I hope there is a way to keep friendships, not with thousands, but to keep this feeling of belonging, even if it's thousands of us. And maybe you think that I'm naive or crazy, but I believe in thousands and hundreds of thousands of those related to us and doing the ministry. And one more dream that I have is integrate and in marketplace ministry and volunteer ministry. The Jewish people usually to be met, or mostly to be met, not on evangelistic services. Sometimes when there is revival, you will invite people to the stadium and they would come. Or a festival, Messianic festival, and thousands will come. But usually, it doesn't work like that. Integrating of marketplace ministry and volunteer ministry into the ministry. Not just vocational, but also bivocational. And as I recently mentioned, and so at one leadership, Messianic leadership meeting for Jewish mission organizations and Messianic congregation, I see the meetings of us where there are people sitting who are vocational ministers and those who are bivocational. And those who are bivocational, they don't feel the second class. And those who are vocational don't feel guilty that they get paid for what they are doing. I think it's a dream, but it's a good dream. For me, the word professional and vocational are not synonymous. You can be very professional while being bivocational. Growing in the skills, even bivocationally, and getting better equipped. No age determined. Young people and older people, or senior people, sorry. The older I get, the more young people there are in the world, you know. So all together. The young people, they are not the future generation. They're the generation that is now there. And some of us in this room remember how it was in our case. I started my ministry, I was 22 years old. I planted my first congregation, I was not even 23. I was moving to start or pioneer the ministry and movement in Germany, I was 25. At that time, Chosen People Ministries, the former president of Chosen People Ministries said, no, we're not going to support you there. You're too young. You're not going to survive. Praise God, I didn't believe that. I said goodbye, I'm going. They changed their mind as I was in the process. Good for CPM, I hope. Maybe Mitch would disagree. But many of us, we started as the leaders being very young. And if somebody would tell us, you're too young to be a leader, we would probably say, whatever. I'm doing what God called me to do. But the older we get, the more like young leaders we see, and they're too young in comparison to me. Anyway, Christians and Messianic believers in this vocational and bivocational ministry. Well, I can keep talking about that, but I have less than 5 minutes, and I want to talk about the ultimate vision. That's what I said was just like my dream. What I'm going to say now, it's our future. It's indeed our future. And our future, I would summarize in a few words. The full restoration of Israel. The full righteousness. The perfect knowledge of the Lord, and everybody follows the God of Israel and the Messiah of Israel. Everybody lives in peace, prosperity, health, joy, new body. You know what I'm talking about. Inheritance in heaven, heavenly possession. That's the future. Well, there is going to be suffering before then. But the ultimate future for us, if we follow Yeshua, is the kingdom of our Messiah and the glorious eternity. That's not my dream. That's my hope. And that's what I believe Yeshua came to give us. And because it's my future and your future, it moves us, it pushes us in our ministry. We can have different dreams, different visions, different strategies. But there is something what unites us, this common future and the Messiah Yeshua. And in the conclusion, I want to read one more verse from 1 Peter, or just one passage. 1 Peter chapter 1, I will start reading from verse 3. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yeshua the Messiah, who according to his great mercy has caused us to be born again to a living hope through the resurrection of Yeshua HaMashiach from the dead, to obtain an inheritance which is imperishable and undefiled and will not fade away, reserved in heaven for you, who are protected by the power of God through faith for salvation ready to be revealed in the last time. In this, you greatly rejoice, even though now, for a little while, if necessary, you have been distressed by various trials. Whatever happens, whatever struggle, whatever suffering, there is the hope and inheritance. This is the future. And this future is exciting. Shabbat Shalom.